Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. It's Winton Motor Raceway for the national circuit layout in the rookie Mazda, the fixed setup Global Mazda MX5 Fanatic Cup. This should be another fantastic week of racing. We were only here right at the end of Season 2 and we are back there once again. Anyway, I've put together this track guide for you. I am now starting to do tin tops as well as the rookie Formula cars. So hopefully you'll enjoy these. If you've never raced them before, you know, now's the good time to start the journey with me, especially if you've been doing the Fords or the Vs previously. Anyway, enough of that. If you're new to the channel, what I do is I do one slow down lap from the cockpit, then I go full speed on the chase cam, and then I'm back in the cockpit uninterrupted once again with the driving line back on. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the cockpit. Okay, now we're in the cockpit. Let's start the lap. So, crossing the line in third gear, we'll be changing up to fourth gear, and what we're looking for, our first braking marker is just before the 50-meter board on the right-hand side. As we get there, we're going to brake quite hard in a straight line, as we always do, up to about 90%. As we start turning towards the apex, we drop it down to third gear, we trail it off down to the exit. Now, we're not wanting to actually ramp this curb on the left-hand side. I know that when we're in the Mazda, we can be quite aggressive on the curbs, but here at Winton, with the way the sausage curves are, we're not actually gaining a massive amount, so I'm going to butt right up against them without going over them, and I'm going to get back on the throttle, 100% in third gear as soon as possible, right on the apex here of turn 1. And I'm going to leave it full throttle as we go through 2, and this time I'm going to ride the curb, but I'm not actually going to jump and hop over it. As you see, it kicks me a bit out to the left-hand side. That's fine. Any further over to the left-hand side, and you're going to have a massive bump that's going to send you up into that wall, so try and avoid that. Now we're trying to find our brake marker for turn number 3. And what it is, these two happy stewards on the left-hand side, it's just between that and the 50-yard marker, 50-meter marker. Sorry, I'm showing my age and where I'm from there. So as we get there, brake hard in a straight line up to about 85%. And again, as we start heading towards the corner, I'm going to trail it off. We're in second gear, just dropped it down. I'm just feathering the throttle, trying to find where the grip is. As I come off the apex, I'm back on 100% throttle. We go over to the left-hand side. And then just at the end of this rumble strip here is where we're going to start turning. I'm going to do a big lift from 100% throttle, big lift almost down to 0, cutting the corner as best as possible. Now we need to leave some tyres on the white line over on the left-hand side. You'll see on chase cam just how close that I did come here. But as we get to the apex, I'm immediately back on the throttle as we come off. Kick out over to the left. Now what we're looking for is this mud patch here on the right-hand side. When we get there, we're going to start doing a big lift. So we're already turning over to the left. But as we get to the mud patch, we're going to do a big lift. And I'm just feathering the throttle now. I'm wanting to cut this first part of the corner in through 5 as much as possible. Feathering the throttle in third gear to try and find where the grip is. Every time I need some more rotation, I'm just releasing that foot pressure on the right-hand side as much as possible, but trying to keep some throttle on the whole time. Now, we can sort of mount this curbing a little bit, but we're not jumping over it. Anytime we're going straight, as we go between 5 and 6, you see we're up to 100% throttle. We then do a lift to make it around this corner here. We do a big blip back on throttle, but as soon as we get to about 2/3 of the way across to the left-hand side, we're going to brake quite hard, up to about 70, 80%, as you can see here. And I'm going to trail that off, drop it down to second gear, still trailing it off, dropping it down to first gear at the apex here, and now I'm building back up on the throttle. So as I come off the apex, I'm getting up to 100%. Now, as you can see, I had to do a big counter steer there because I had a whole heap of oversteer going on. And we leave it in first gear. We're going to bounce off the rev limiter, as you'll hear now. And that's absolutely fine. But as we get to halfway along this curbing on the left-hand side, as you can see the rumble strip, we're going to brake sharply up to about 60% and then trail it off. We're leaving it in first gear and we're just feathering the throttle. Again, we're not wanting to go over the curbing, but I'm literally using it just to turn the car. Big blast of 100% throttle here before immediately getting back on the brakes up to about 60%. We're wanting to keep us tight round to the right-hand side as we can do here. Building back up on the throttle up to 100% now. Car's going to kick out slightly, but there was still plenty of room on my outside. Up to second, up to third gear. Now we're looking for this 50-meter marker on the left-hand side. As we get there, I'm going to brake up to 100%. So the hardest bit of braking that I do, the ABS is kicking in. 12-minute races. It's not really a big issue. And then we're going to trade it off down to second gear, still trailing it off, coming off the brake still now, down to first gear, start to hold it at 50-60% throttle, and then as we come off the apex, I'm going to give it full blast back up to 100% throttle. Car exit wide, that's fine, don't go on the grass there though. Now we go up to third gear, leave it in third gear here as we come to the braking marker, which is just at the 50 meter marker on the right hand side. As we get there, up to about 90%, drop it down to second gear. We're still trailing the brakes off all the way down to the apex. I give the curbing a big clip there, which actually just delays me getting on throttle a little bit, so try and avoid that. So it's still on 100%, still leaving it in first gear. I'm going to bounce off the rev limiter. And then just as we come off this curbing on the left-hand side, I'm going to do the final bit of braking, only up to about 30%, just to get the car started to rotate. I'm already back up to 55% throttle, and now back up to 100%. Letting the car slide out. And there we go, over and across the line in a 1:30.767. Now in the final week of last season, the very, very fastest guys in the world were doing 1:30.5, sort of Gianni Luzzi and those sort of people. So if you're getting anywhere close to 1:30.7, you should be doing well, and you should be competitive in more or less any split out there. Okay, and now we'll go through at full speed without me talking from the chase cam. Right, here we are with the chase cam. And over and across the line, 1:30.767. Park up, grab yourself a sandwich, and then we go back to the cockpit with the driving line on for a final time. Okay, final run through with the driving line on at full speed. I've been Sambo iRacing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next week.